She had never trusted Ruby, with her fake smile and calculating eyes. As Ruby continued to fawn over Julian's work, Sofia's discomfort grew. She couldn't help but notice the way Ruby touched Julian's arm, her hand lingering a fraction of a second too long. It was a subtle gesture, but one that spoke volumes to Sofia. She knew Ruby's type, a social climber who used her charm and beauty to get what she wanted. After Ruby left, Sofia couldn't help but express her misgivings to Julian.
I don't trust her,
she said, her voice low and urgent.
She's always trying to get something from you.
Julian, still basking in the glow of Ruby's praise, dismissed Sofia's concerns.
Ruby's just being supportive,
he said, his tone dismissive, but Sofia knew better. She knew that Ruby's support came with a price, one that Julian was blind to. Ruby invited Julian to her gallery opening, and he accepted. Sofia felt a knot tighten in her stomach as she watched Julian mingle with Ruby and her friends. The gallery was teeming with the crème de la crème of the art world, and Ruby was the queen bee, effortlessly flitting from one conversation to the next. Her laughter echoed through the room, a sound that grated on Sofia's nerves. As Julian and Ruby chatted, Sofia couldn't help but notice the way Ruby's eyes locked onto Julian's, her gaze intense and unyielding. She saw the way Ruby's hand brushed against Julian's arm, a subtle touch that spoke volumes. Sofia's instincts screamed at her to intervene, but she remained frozen, unable to tear her eyes away from the scene unfolding before her. She knew her relationship with Julian was still undefined. Their kiss had happened because she had initiated it. Julian had yet to express his feelings or make a move since then, as they had both been very busy. Plus, Ruby's presence in his life seemed to command his unwavering attention. Sofia told herself she would be patient with Julian and keep praying that his wandering eyes would return to her. As long as Julian hadn't chosen to be with Ruby yet, there was still hope, and she was determined to hold on to that hope. Unbeknownst to her, she had built her world around Julian. She was going to fight for him, but she would use love as her weapon. The following day, Ruby dropped by Julian's studio with a gift, a book of her own artwork dedicated to him. Sofia walked in on the scene, feeling a surge of jealousy at the sight of Ruby's hand on Julian's arm. Ruby's eyes sparkled as she explained the inspiration behind her work, her voice husky and confident. Julian listened, entranced, as Ruby's fingers traced the lines of her own drawings. Sofia felt a wave of nausea wash over her as she watched the exchange. For the first time in her life, she felt she couldn't control her jealousy, but she knew she had no right over Julian. She was going to confront Julian about them, or else she felt she was going to lose her mind to Ruby's tactics, her charm, and beauty to manipulate those around her. Sofia's heart pounded in her chest as she struggled to maintain her composure, her mind racing with worst-case scenarios. Ruby reached into her bag and pulled out a bottle of wine.
Why don't we take a break and celebrate our progress, Julian?
Her eyes twinkling with mischief. Caught up in the moment, Julian agreed. For the first time, he let his gaze meet Sofia's, acknowledging her presence.
Hey Sofia, why don't you join us?
He said, realizing she had been there all along.
I didn't see you come in. Come join us.
Sofia felt a pang of disappointment that Julian hadn't noticed her because of Ruby. Reluctantly, she joined them, masking her feelings well. As they sipped their wine and laughed, Ruby seized the moment.
Julian, I have a proposal for you,
she said, her voice low and husky.
I want to feature your work in my next exhibition. You'll be the star of the show.
Julian was taken aback by Ruby's offer. He had never been the star of a show before, and the prospect was tantalizing. Sofia, however, felt a sense of foreboding. A chill ran down her spine. She knew Ruby's exhibitions were always meticulously curated, and she suspected Ruby had an ulterior motive for choosing Julian.
Ruby, that's incredibly generous of you.
Julian said, his eyes shining with excitement.
But why me?
Ruby smiled, her lips curling into a sly grin.
Because, Julian, you have a certain je ne sais quoi, a spark that sets you apart from the rest, and I believe that spark can be fanned into a flame with the right guidance.
Sofia felt a surge of unease at Ruby's words. What did she mean by guidance? What did she plan to get out of this exhibition? Julian, caught up in the excitement of the moment, didn't hesitate.
That would be amazing, Ruby. Thank you for the opportunity.
Sophia, on the other hand, felt a sense of dread wash over her. She knew that Ruby's offer was too good to be true, that there had to be a catch.
Ruby, what's in it for you?
Sophia asked, her voice laced with skepticism. Ruby smiled, her eyes glinting with amusement.
Oh, Sophia, always so cautious. Let's just say that I believe in Julian's talent and I want to help him share it with the world.
But Sophia wasn't convinced. She knew that Ruby had an ulterior motive, one that she couldn't quite put her finger on. As they packed up and left the studio, Sophia couldn't shake the feeling that she was losing Julian to Ruby's manipulation. She knew she had to do something. But what? The next day, Sophia decided to do some digging. She started by researching Ruby's past exhibitions, looking for any clues that might reveal her true intentions. What she found shocked her. Ruby's exhibitions were indeed always carefully curated, featuring artists who were on the verge of a breakthrough. But there was something else. Something that Sophia couldn't quite explain. Ruby's artists always seemed to change. Their style, their passion, their very essence seemed to shift after working with Ruby, and not always for the better. Sophia's heart raced as she realized the truth. Ruby wasn't just a patron of the arts, she was a predator, using her influence to manipulate and control. And Julian was her next target.